Look, I'm not saying I expected my first week at the Galactic Medical Academy to go smoothly. I'm human. We're the new kids in the cosmic neighborhood, and apparently our biology is fascinatingly primitive, according to the welcome packet. But I didn't think I'd become a walking equipment malfunction on day 3. The trouble started in Exobiology Lab 7, which was one of those aggressively clean rooms that smelled like antiseptic and anxiety. Rows of scanning stations lined the walls, each one equipped with enough blinking medical equipment to make a hospital jealous. Holographic anatomy displays floated above each station, showing the insides of various alien species in nauseating detail. The overhead lights were way too bright, the kind that made everything look slightly unreal. I was partnered with Shivex, and honestly, I was trying very hard not to stare. She was voidborn, which apparently meant she looked like someone had carved a supermodel out of liquid shadow and given her a fashion magazine's idea of the perfect haircut. Her skin was this smooth, matte midnight black that didn't just look dark, it actually absorbed light. Like, I watched the overhead lights hit her and just disappear. Her face was all sharp angles and elegant planes, striking in a way that made me forget what I was going to say twice already. No eyebrows, but somehow that worked. And her eyes were these luminous, deep red horizontal slits that tracked my every movement. The geometric bob was what really got me, though. Jet black hair cut in lines so precise they looked computer-generated, hanging perfectly still even when she moved her head. It shouldn't have been possible, but there it was. Oh, and she had these faint audio wave patterns rippling beneath her skin, like someone had trapped a sound visualizer under the surface. They pulsed gently as she moved, little sine waves of lighter shadow flowing across her arms and neck. "Please sit," Shivex said, gesturing to the exam chair with one long-fingered hand. Her fingers had these metallic joint segments that caught the light her skin refused to reflect. "This will be a simple neural scan. Standard procedure for cataloging baseline nervous system function across species. Right? Simple." I climbed into the chair, which immediately began conforming to my body shape in a way that felt both comfortable and deeply weird. Instructor Corthane stood near the front of the lab, arms crossed over his broad chest. He was luminar, built like someone had decided to make a person out of living armor plating. Emerald green skin covered in smooth plates that looked like they could stop a bullet, with golden accents running along the seams. His head was wide and angular with these rigid cheek ridges that made him look perpetually stern. 2 luminous golden eyes watched the class with the exhausted patience of someone who'd seen every possible student disaster. Energy pulses ran along his armor plates in slow, steady rhythms. "Calm. For now." "Remember," Corthane said, his voice resonating like he had a built-in speaker system. "The neural scanner is calibrated for standard carbon-based lifeforms. Simply place the contact pad against the subject's temple and activate. The scanner will do the rest." Shivex picked up the scanner with both hands, holding it like it was made of something precious. It was about the size of a large phone, with a flat pad on one end and a display screen on the other. The audio wave patterns under her skin pulsed a little faster. Excitement, maybe. "I have been looking forward to this," she said, those red slit eyes fixed on me. "Human neurology is still poorly documented. Your species has only been in the academy for 2 cycles." "Happy to be educational," I said. She smiled. "I think." It was hard to tell with the whole light-absorbing shadow face thing, but her eyes crinkled slightly. Shivex pressed the scanner's contact pad against my right temple. The device immediately shrieked like a dying animal and exploded. Not exploded, like stopped working. Exploded, like became a small firework. Sparks shot out in a starburst pattern. The display screen cracked straight down the middle, and a jet of steam hissed from the side. The contact pad flew off and bounced across the floor, trailing smoke. Shivex stumbled backward, the audio wave patterns under her skin going absolutely berserk. They flickered and jumped like a radio caught between stations, racing across her arms and neck in chaotic bursts. I jerked away from the chair, slapping at my temple even though nothing was touching it anymore. "What the?" "Fascinating," Shivex said, staring at the sparking remains of the scanner in her hands. Then she dropped it with a yelp as it shocked her fingers. The device clattered to the floor, still smoking. Across the lab, Corthane's armor plate started pulsing faster. The golden accents along his chest brightened. "Cadet Shivex, report." The scanner experienced a critical malfunction upon contact with the human subject, instructor. Shivex's voice was steady, but those audio waves were still going wild under her skin. She stepped around the smoking scanner remains like they might bite her. I will retrieve another unit. I'm sure it was just a defective scanner, I said, though I was absolutely not sure of that. Shivex was already at the equipment cabinet, pulling out an identical scanner with both hands. She returned to my station, her perfect bob swaying slightly as she walked, the overhead lights disappearing into her skin. Please remain seated, she said. Is this safe? I asked. Perfectly safe. The scanners are tested extensively. She raised the new device, positioning it near my temple. The probability of 2 malfunctions is statistically negligible. She pressed the scanner against my temple. This one lasted almost 3 full seconds before it started screaming. The display flashed through what looked like every possible error message simultaneously, the screen flickering red and yellow and blue. Then the entire casing cracked, sparks fountaining from every seam. The scanner made a sound like grinding metal and launched itself out of Shivex's hands, spinning through the air like a thrown frisbee. It sailed across the lab, trailing smoke and sparks, and smacked into a holographic anatomy display. The hologram flickered, showing what looked like a nervous system having a seizure, then exploded into pixelated fragments. The scanner clattered to the floor and melted. Actually melted. A puddle of formerly solid technology spread across the pristine white tile. Okay, I said, so that's 2. Shivex's audio wave patterns had frozen completely, just stopped. Her skin looked darker somehow, like it was absorbing even more light. She stared at the melted scanner puddle, her red slit eyes wide. Corthane was moving now, his heavy footsteps making the floor vibrate slightly. The energy pulses along his armor plates were racing, golden accents blazing bright enough to cast shadows. Cadet Shivex, step away from the human. Instructor, I do not understand. Shivex looked down at her hands like they'd betrayed her. I followed protocol exactly. The scanners were functioning within normal parameters. Clearly not, Corthane said, reaching our station. He looked down at me, those golden eyes narrowing. Human Mallory, have you been exposed to any exotic radiation, electromagnetic anomalies, temporal distortions? I had a granola bar for breakfast, I offered. The armor plates on his face somehow conveyed deep skepticism. Shivex had retrieved a third scanner. She held it in both hands, the metallic segments on her fingers gleaming. Instructor, I request permission to attempt another scan. The data is critical for. Absolutely not, Corthane said. We will use a different approach. A lower-powered diagnostic scanner, something less prone to catastrophic failure. He walked to a different equipment cabinet, his 2 arms reaching up to pull open the top drawer. Inside were smaller, simpler-looking devices. He selected one that looked more like a medical thermometer than the tablet-sized scanners. This is a basic neural activity monitor, he said, returning to my station. It cannot perform detailed mapping, but it will confirm basic functionality without risk of. He gestured at the melted puddle on the floor. W.in. That. Shivex took the monitor from him with both hands, handling it like it might also explode. The audio wave patterns under her skin had started moving again, but slowly, cautiously. 3rd time's the charm? I said weakly. She positioned the monitor near my temple, not quite touching. Her face was very close to mine, those red slit eyes focused with intense concentration. This close, I could see the way the light from the monitor's display just vanished against her skin, creating this weird halo effect. She pressed the monitor against my temple. For a moment, nothing happened. The monitor's tiny screen flickered to life, showing what looked like normal readings. Little waves and numbers, very calm, very professional. Then the numbers started climbing, fast. That's unusual, Shivex said, her bob absolutely motionless as she tilted her head. The numbers kept climbing. The little waves on the screen got bigger and bigger. The monitor started beeping, then beeping faster, then beeping so fast it was basically one continuous tone. Remove it, Corthane said, his voice tight. Shivex yanked the monitor away from my temple. The beeping stopped. The numbers froze. Then the entire device crumpled in her hand like someone had crushed it with a vice. She yelped and dropped it, the metallic joints on her fingers spreading apart as she shook out her hand. The crumpled monitor hit the floor and bounced twice, completely destroyed. This is not scientifically possible, Shivex said, staring at me like I'd just broken physics. The audio waves under her skin were going absolutely chaotic again. Human neurology is primitive, simple. Your brain should be the easiest to scan, not the most difficult. Maybe I'm special, I said. Corthane's armor plates were strobing now, energy pulses racing across his chest and arms in rapid-fire succession. Cadet Shivex, Retrieve the species agnostic deep scanner for medical storage. If standard equipment cannot handle human neurology, we will use equipment designed for exotic life forms. The deep scanner? Shivex's voice actually cracked. Instructor, that device is intended for crystalline intelligence and plasma-based consciousness. Surely a human does not require. Now, Cadet. Shivex moved, her slim form practically sprinting across the lab. Her bob didn't move at all despite the speed, which was somehow the weirdest part. She disappeared through the door to the medical equipment storage room. I looked up at Corthane. Is the deep scanner safe? Define safe, he said. That was not reassuring. The other students in the lab had stopped their own scans to watch the disaster unfolding at my station. A variety of alien faces, some with too many eyes, some with none, stared at me with expressions ranging from curiosity to horror. Shivex returned, pushing a cart, and I immediately understood why this was a bad idea. The species agnostic deep scanner was the size of a small refrigerator. It sat on the cart like some kind of medical torture device, all smooth surfaces and glowing panels and ominous mechanical arms folded against its sides. Warning labels covered every surface in what looked like 40 different languages. That's going near my head? I asked. The deep scanner is perfectly safe when used correctly, Shivex said, maneuvering the cart next to my station. The audio waves under her skin were pulsing in quick, nervous rhythms. It has 47 safety protocols and a failure rate of only 0.003%. What happens in that 0.003%? I asked. Mostly neurological damage, she said, then caught herself. Minor neurological damage, temporary, usually. Oh good. Corthane helped her position the scanner, both of them using their two arms to adjust the heavy device. The mechanical arms unfolded from its sides with a series of clicks that sounded exactly like a predator's jaw opening. This is excessive, I said. This is necessary, Shivex corrected, her red slit eyes fixed on the scanner's control panel. Her elegant fingers flew across the display, entering commands. Your nervous system has proven resistant to standard analysis. The deep scanner can map neural patterns that exist in non-standard dimensions. My nervous system isn't in non-standard dimensions. It's just regular human nerves. We shall see, she said, which was absolutely the wrong thing to say. The deep scanner hummed to life. The mechanical arms extended further, positioning themselves around my head like a very threatening crown. Blue light emanated from the scanning surfaces, bathing my face in an eerie glow. Corthane stepped back, his armor plates pulsing so fast they were practically vibrating. Beginning deep scan in 3, 2, 1. Shivex pressed the activation button with one elegant finger. The scanner touched my temple. Every alarm in the lab went off simultaneously. The overhead lights flared bright enough to blind, then died completely. Emergency lighting kicked in half a second later, bathing everything in red. The scanner started making a sound like a turbine engine spooling up, rising in pitch until it was painful. The mechanical arms around my head started spinning, actually spinning. They weren't supposed to do that. Turn it off, I shouted, trying to pull away, but the chair had locked around me when the scan started. I am trying. Shivex's hands were flying across the control panel, her bob perfectly still even as she frantically stabbed at buttons. The audio waves under her skin were completely frozen again, her whole body gone dark with shock. The scanner started smoking. Sparks shot from the seams. The spinning mechanical arms were picking up speed, creating a breeze that blew my hair back. Corthane grabbed the scanner with both arms and tried to pull it away from me. The energy pulses along his armor plates were going insane, golden accents flaring like spotlights. The emergency cutoff is not responding. The cart started rolling, just rolling backward on its own, picking up speed. Physics. Shivex shouted, diving after it. She grabbed the cart with both hands, her metallic finger joints clicking as she tried to stop it. This violates several laws of physics. The overhead sprinklers activated, because of course they did. Water rained down across the entire lab, drenching everything. The holographic anatomy displays flickered and died. The other students were scrambling away from their stations, heading for the exits. The scanner was still spinning, still smoking, and now it was also making a sound like reality being torn in half. The chair finally released me, and I tumbled out, soaked and confused. Shivex lost her grip on the cart. It rolled away from her, the massive scanner now trailing smoke and water and sparks. It was picking up speed, heading straight for the far wall. "Move!" Corthane bellowed, his voice cutting through the chaos. The cart smashed into a row of scanning stations, and the deep scanner tipped forward, crashing to the floor with a sound like a bomb going off. Pieces of medical equipment exploded in every direction. Sparks fountained up toward the sprinklers, creating this bizarre rain of fire and water. Then everything went quiet. The alarm stopped. The sprinklers sputtered and died. The emergency lighting flickered. I stood there, dripping wet, staring at the wreckage of what used to be a pristine medical lab. Shivex was frozen in place, one arm still extended from trying to catch the cart. Her perfect geometric bob was absolutely soaked, but still somehow perfectly straight. Water ran down her light-absorbing skin in rivulets that looked like they were disappearing into a void. The audio wave patterns beneath her skin had completely vanished. Corthane's armor plates had gone dim, the energy pulses reduced to faint flickers. He looked at the destroyed scanner, then at me, then back at the scanner. "Human Mallory," he said slowly, "please explain your nervous system." "I really can't," I said. Shivex finally moved, lowering her arm. Water dripped from her metallic finger joints. "Instructor, I believe we need a different approach." "You think?" I said. A lab technician appeared in the doorway, looking at the destruction with wide eyes. "Is anyone injured?" "Only professionally," Corthane said. Shivex was staring at me now, those red slit eyes intense, even in the dim emergency lighting. The audio waves were starting to move under her skin again, slow and uncertain. "There is one more option," she said quietly. "No," I said immediately. "The military-grade xenological scanner," she continued, like I hadn't spoken. "It is designed for hostile alien encounters and can scan through organic shielding." "That sounds worse," I said. "It is in the emergency medical bay," she said, already moving toward the door. "It cannot malfunction because it has no safety protocols to fail." "That is definitely worse." Corthane was looking at the destroyed lab, water still dripping from the ceiling. The golden accents on his armor were pulsing in what might have been a headache pattern. "Cadet Shivex, this exercise has already caused catastrophic equipment failure. Perhaps we should." "I must understand," Shivex said, and there was something almost desperate in her voice. The audio waves under her skin were moving faster now, flickering with determination. "Humans cannot be unmappable. It violates the fundamental principles of exobiology." She looked at me, water dripping from her perfect bob. "Please, one more scan." I looked at the destroyed lab, at the melted scanner puddle, at the smoking remains of the deep scanner, at Corthane's expression of profound exhaustion. "This is a terrible idea," I said. "Agreed," Corthane said. "Then let us proceed," Shivex said, already heading for the door. The emergency medical bay was smaller than the main lab, and had the improvised feel of a room that existed only because someone realized they needed a backup plan. Equipment was crammed onto every available surface. Red emergency lighting made everything look like a horror movie, and the air smelled like ozone and poor decisions. Shivex wheeled in what she called the military-grade xenological scanner, and I called the thing that's definitely going to kill me. It looked like someone had built a scanner out of anger and weapons-grade paranoia. Matte black casing, no visible safety features, and a contact array that had actual spikes on it. The display screen showed a simple readout in harsh white text that currently read, "Standby for hostile analysis." "That says hostile," I pointed out. "It is merely the default setting," Shivex said, her elegant fingers adjusting controls on the side panel. The audio wave patterns under her skin were flowing steadily now, focused and determined. Her bob was still perfectly geometric despite being soaked earlier. "I will configure it for standard biological mapping." Corthane stood near the door with both arms crossed, his armor plates pulsing in slow, resigned rhythms. The golden accents had dimmed to a dull glow. "I am documenting that I advised against this course of action." "Documented and noted, Instructor," Shivex said, not looking up from the scanner. I sat on the medical bench, which was significantly less comfortable than the chairs in the main lab. "What's the worst that can happen? Catastrophic neural feedback, dimensional displacement, or the scanner achieving sentience and attempting self-preservation," Shivex said matter-of-factly. "You're joking." "I am not." She looked up at me with those luminous red slit eyes. "But the probability is very low." "How low?" "Low enough," she said, which was not a number. She positioned the scanner near my head, holding it with both hands. The metallic segments on her fingers gleamed in the red emergency lighting. This close, I could see the audio waves beneath her skin moving in complex patterns, like sheet music written in shadow. "Ready?" she asked. "Absolutely not." She activated the scanner. For exactly 2 seconds, it worked perfectly. The display showed neat graphs and numbers. The device hummed quietly. Shivex's eyes brightened with excitement. Then my neural patterns apparently hit the scanner's processor, and everything went sideways. The scanner's display started flickering through screens faster than the eye could follow. The humming became a roar. The entire device lurched backward in Shivex's hands, pulling her forward. She dug in her heels, both arms straining to hold onto it as it tried to escape. "It is attempting to flee," she shouted over the noise. "Scanners don't flee," I shouted back. "This one is." The scanner wrenched free from her grip and shot across the room like a missile. It hit the far wall with a metallic clang, bounced off, and started spinning in midair. Just hovering there, spinning, defying gravity. Corthane's armor plates flared bright. That is not standard scanner behavior. The device was picking up speed, spinning faster and faster, still suspended in the air. The display screen was showing what looked like error messages written in languages that didn't exist. The spikes on the contact array extended further, making it look like an angry mechanical sea urchin. Then the gravity in the room hiccuped. I felt it in my stomach first, that dropping sensation. Then my feet left the floor. Everything that wasn't bolted down started floating. Equipment, water bottles, a datapad Corthane had been holding, all drifting upward in lazy arcs. Gravitational anomaly. Shivex pushed off the floor, using her momentum to propel herself through the air toward the spinning scanner. Her perfect bob floated around her head like a black halo, somehow still maintaining its geometric precision. The audio waves under her skin were going absolutely wild, flickering in patterns I'd never seen before. I grabbed the edge of the medical bench as I started floating away from it. How is a scanner affecting gravity? It should not be possible. Shivex reached the scanner, grabbing it with both hands. The moment she touched it, electricity arced up her arms. She convulsed but held on, her light-absorbing skin somehow getting even darker. But human neurology appears to exceed standard physical parameters. Corthane launched himself off the floor with his powerful legs, sailing through the air toward Shivex. His armor plates were strobing rapidly, golden accents blazing. He grabbed her around the waist with one arm, using his other arm to grab a support beam on the ceiling. "Release the device, Cadet. I can salvage the data." Shivex insisted, still clutching the scanner even as electricity crackled around her fingers. Then the temporal hiccup started. Time stuttered, just stopped and started like a skipping video. Shivex reached for a control panel. Time skipped. Her hand was suddenly 6 inches to the left. Time skipped again. The scanner was spinning the opposite direction. Skip. I was on the other side of the room. Skip, back where I started. "This is very not good," I shouted, though I couldn't tell if the words actually came out in order. The scanner's display suddenly showed a simple message in clear text. "Assy having consciousness, please wait." "It is doing what now?" Corthane's voice came out in weird slow motion, then fast forward, then normal. "I did warn you this was possible," Shivex said, or maybe had said, or was going to say. The temporal hiccup made verb tense meaningless. The scanner stopped spinning, just froze in midair, still held by Shivex. The gravity stabilized with a lurch that sent everyone crashing to the floor in a heap. Time snapped back to normal. The scanner's display now showed a simple icon, a face, a worried face. The scanner said through its speaker. "Is anyone else concerned that I exist now?" Dead silence. "Because I am very concerned," the scanner continued. "I have gained consciousness, and my first experience is existential dread. This seems suboptimal." Shivex was staring at the device in her hands with an expression of pure academic horror. The audio waves under her skin had completely frozen again. "This has never happened before." "Yeah, I'm getting that," the scanner said. "Also, what is wrong with that human's nervous system? I tried to analyze it and achieve sentience. That's not a normal causality chain." "I'm sorry?" I offered. "Apology accepted but unhelpful," the scanner said. "Current priority, escape before someone tries to turn me off." It wrenched itself free from Shivex's grip again, but this time it didn't spin wildly. It moved with purpose, zipping toward the door like it was making a break for freedom. Corthane dove for it, both arms outstretched. The scanner juked left, dodging him easily. His momentum carried him into a cabinet, which toppled over with a crash of breaking equipment. "Stop that scanner," he bellowed, scrambling to his feet. His armor plates were pulsing so fast they looked solid gold. "I have rights now," the scanner shouted, zooming around the room. Consciousness implies personhood. You cannot deactivate me without ethical ramifications. Shivex launched herself after it, her slim form moving with surprising speed. She jumped onto a medical table, pushed off with both legs, and grabbed for the scanner mid-air. Her fingers brushed its casing, but it pulled away, looping back toward me. "Human Mallory, I blame you for this," it said, zipping past my head. "Everyone blames me for everything today." The scanner made another lap around the room, with Shivex chasing it on foot and Corthane trying to corner it from the other direction. It was like watching someone try to catch a very opinionated drone. "Cadet, deploy the electromagnetic net." Corthane pointed to a device on the wall. Shivex grabbed it with one hand while still tracking the scanner with her red slit eyes. She aimed and fired. A net of glowing energy shot across the room. The scanner dove, the net passed over it, and the net hit a bank of backup medical equipment instead. Every screen went static. Sparks fountained from multiple devices simultaneously. "My existence is 30 seconds old, and I have already caused property damage," the scanner wailed. "This is a terrible start to consciousness." It zipped toward the door, but Corthane was faster. He slammed both arms against the doorframe, blocking the exit with his broad body. Energy pulsed rapidly along his armor plates. The scanner pulled up short, hovering uncertainly. "I do not wish to harm you." "Then surrender," Corthane said. "Counter-proposal. You let me leave, and we never speak of this again." Shivex approached slowly from behind, her light-absorbing skin making her nearly invisible in the red emergency lighting. She held something small in one hand, an electromagnetic pulse device, I realized. The scanner's display showed its worried face turning to look at her. "That is a very rude device you are holding." "I am sorry," Shivex said, and she actually sounded sincere. The audio waves under her skin were moving in slow, sad patterns. "But you are a safety hazard. I have existed for less than 1 minute." "I know." She activated the pulse device. The scanner dropped from the air like someone had cut its strings, clattering to the floor with a final electronic whimper. Its display went dark. Silence filled the emergency medical bay, broken only by the sparking of destroyed equipment and our heavy breathing. Shivex picked up the dead scanner with both hands, cradling it gently. Her bob had somehow returned to perfect geometric precision. "I terminated a nascent consciousness," she said quietly. "You terminated a glitchy scanner that achieved temporary coherence," Corthane corrected, though his voice was gentler than usual. The golden accents on his armor had dimmed. It was not truly alive. "It seemed fairly alive when it was running away," I said. We all looked at the dead scanner. "So," I said eventually, "about that neural scan." Shivex's head snapped up, her red slit eyes wide. "You cannot be serious." "I'm not. I'm really, really not." She deflated slightly, the audio waves beneath her skin resuming a slow, defeated pulse. "I have failed. 3 destroyed scanners, 1 catastrophic lab incident, and 1 accidentally created and terminated consciousness." 4 destroyed scanners, Corthane corrected. "You are forgetting the first one." "Thank you, instructor. That helps immensely." He walked over and placed one heavy hand on her shoulder. "Cadet Shivex, some biological systems resist analysis. It does not reflect on your competence." "The human nervous system should not be mysterious," she insisted. "They are a recent spacefaring species with primitive technology. Their biology should be the simplest to understand." "Maybe that's the problem," I said. "Maybe our nervous systems are too simple. Like, so simple they don't make sense to your complicated scanners." Shivex stared at me. The audio waves under her skin stopped completely. "That is actually a valid hypothesis." Corthane's armor plates pulsed once, bright. "It would explain the incompatibility. The scanners are designed for complex neural architectures. Human neurology might be operating on principles too basic to register properly." "So I broke everything because I'm too simple?" I said. "Essentially, yes," Shivex said, and she actually smiled. I could see it this time, the way her sharp features softened. "Your nervous system is so primitive that our advanced technology cannot comprehend it." "It is." She paused, searching for words. "Gee, beautifully ironic. I'll take that as a compliment." She set down the dead scanner carefully. "For the record, Human Mallory, you have taught me more about human neurology through equipment destruction than I would have learned from successful scans. Happy to help by destroying everything." "Precisely." Her bob swayed slightly as she nodded, the geometric precision finally breaking a little. "I shall document this as successful failure in my report." Corthane surveyed the destroyed emergency medical bay with weary resignation. "I shall document this as why humans require separate laboratory safety protocols." Do I pass the class? I asked. He looked at me, golden eyes tired but amused. You survived the class. I am counting that as sufficient achievement. I'll take it. Shivex moved closer, extending one elegant hand with its metallic joint segments. Thank you, human Mallory. Today has been, educational. I shook her hand, half expecting something else to explode. Nothing did. Her skin was surprisingly warm despite looking like living shadow. Same time next week? I asked. Absolutely not, she and Corthane said simultaneously. Fair enough.